at this very moment. Right now, at this very moment, while you're watching this video, there are tunnels carved inside mountains, somewhere in Central Europe, holding more gold than all the world's central banks combined. I'm not talking about Fort Knox. I'm not talking about the Federal Reserve. I'm talking about something far more secretive, far older, and far more powerful. A facility so secretive that even the people who work inside cannot talk about what happens there, that appears on no map, that has no public address, that has no registered name. And today, we are going in. Switzerland produces almost no gold of its own, no mines, no rivers of ore, no natural deposits of anything. And yet, at this exact moment, this small country in the center of Europe refines more than 70% of all the gold on Earth. 70%. Think about that for a second. Out of every 10 gold bars in the world, 7 pass through Switzerland. Every bar in the vaults of the American Federal Reserve, the Bank of England, the Central Bank of China, India, Saudi Arabia, a massive portion of all of it passed through Swiss hands first. But why? How did a country without a single gold mine, without a single river with nuggets, without absolutely anything in its ground, become the arbiter of all the gold on the planet? The answer is not in the ground. It is in the people. Centuries of precision engineering, watchmaking, metallurgy, industrial chemistry, a culture that treats perfection not as an aspiration but as a minimum requirement, absolute political neutrality. Through world wars, revolutions, the collapse of empires, Switzerland stayed still, neutral, stable, reliable, and a culture of secrecy that has no equal anywhere in the world. There are 4 major refineries in Switzerland. Their names are known only within the industry: Valcambi, Pamp, Argor Heraeus, Metalor. Together, they process something like 2,000 tons of gold per year. To give you an idea of what that means, 1 ton of gold fits inside a large shoebox. 2,000 shoeboxes full of gold. Every year. Just from these 4 facilities. The largest ones are located in the canton of Ticino, near a town called Mendrisio. A quiet region. Ordinary. The kind of place tourists drive through without looking twice. You would never guess what is happening underground. Raw gold arrives at these facilities in every form imaginable. Doré bars from mines in South Africa, Australia, Canada, Peru. Gold from discarded electronics. Your broken iPhone that you threw away last year probably passed through one of these refineries. Your old laptop, your broken earbuds, circuit boards from discarded computers. All of them contain traces of real gold, old jewelry, dental crowns, medical instruments, industrial catalysts. All of it ends up here. The first step is called smelting. The raw material gets loaded into furnaces that operate at over 1,000 degrees Celsius. At that temperature, gold doesn't just melt, it flows like water. The impurities, silver, copper, platinum, palladium, begin to separate from the gold. Workers in full heat-resistant suits pour the molten material into molds. What comes out is called a rough bar. It is gold, but it is not pure yet. Then comes the refining stage. And this is where it gets insane. Switzerland uses a method called the Miller process. Chlorine gas is bubbled directly through the molten gold. The chlorine bonds chemically with every single impurity in the metal, every one of them, except gold itself. What remains is gold, at 99.5% purity. But they don't stop there. For investment-grade gold, the kind that goes into central bank vaults, the kind that is purchased by sovereign funds, they need 99.99% purity. 4 nines. To get there, they use electrolytic refining. The gold gets dissolved in acid, an electrical current runs through the liquid, and pure gold atoms deposit onto a metal plate, one by one, with almost perfect precision. The result is gold so pure that a single bar contains less than 1 part in 10,000 of any other substance. One of the Swiss refineries produces 400 tons of finished bars per year. At current prices, that is $32 billion from a single facility. But refining it is only half the story, because once the gold is pure, it has to disappear, and Switzerland is very good at making things disappear. And Switzerland is also home to some of the most sophisticated private vault systems on Earth. These are not bank vaults in the traditional sense. These are purpose-built underground fortresses, some of them carved directly inside the Alps. The geology matters. Granite mountains provide natural radiation shielding, absolute structural stability, perfect thermal isolation, and a level of physical security that no man-made structure can match. The clients of these facilities include sovereign wealth funds, billionaires, family offices, and governments who do not want their reserves inside the financial system, off the books, off the grid. These facilities have features that sound like something from a spy movie, but they are completely real. Biometric entry at every level, fingerprint, retinal scan, facial recognition, seismic sensors embedded in the granite that detect any unauthorized digging attempt from hundreds of meters away. Air filtration systems specifically designed to survive chemical attacks, and in some cases, the location of the vault itself is classified. You cannot find it on any map. The staff sign non-disclosure agreements that last the rest of their lives. Now let's talk about scale, because this is where it gets hard to comprehend. The Swiss National Bank officially holds around 1,040 tons of gold. That sounds like a lot. And it is. But it is only a fraction of what passes through the country. Private holdings in Swiss vaults are estimated between 20,000 and 40,000 tons. The exact number is unknowable by design. 40,000 tons at current gold prices, that is approximately $3.2 trillion. 3.2 trillion. More than the entire GDP of the United Kingdom, more than the entire GDP of France, sitting in silence, in tunnels, under the Alps. And the gold keeps moving, every single day. Armored shipments arrive from airports in Zurich and Geneva, diplomatic pouches, private cargo flights, armored convoys. Switzerland has special customs arrangements that allow gold to move in and out of the country without the standard documentation required for other goods. This is by design, and it has worked exactly this way since the 19th century. In 2022, the West froze Russia's dollar reserves overnight, without warning, without process, without any possibility of appeal. Every government on Earth asked the same question at the same time. What if that happens to us? Gold held in a Swiss vault under your own country's name, cannot be frozen by a swift decision, cannot be sanctioned, cannot be blocked. It exists completely outside the banking system, and that created a gold rush, not the kind with pickaxes and rivers, but a quiet institutional flood of capital moving into physical gold. In 2024, central banks around the world bought more gold than at any point since the 1960s. China, India, Poland, Turkey, Kazakhstan, Singapore, all buying, all accumulating, all sending it to Switzerland. The refineries are running at full capacity. The vaults are filling up, and the small neutral country in the center of Europe, the one with no army worth mentioning, the one with no natural resources, the one that produces nothing the world needs, remains the silent guardian of almost all of the planet's wealth. The mountains don't talk, the workers don't talk, the vaults don't appear on any map, but the gold keeps moving, and Switzerland keeps the secret. The question isn't where the gold is. The question is, whose gold is it? And if you think that is the most unsettling story you have ever heard, wait for the next video. Because there is a country that has been secretly accumulating gold at a scale that no Western government wants to admit. And when the world discovers the true size of that stockpile, nothing will ever be the same. Subscribe to Forge Empire. The next video you cannot afford to miss.